The royal family is a great tourist attraction. There's more than a few monarchists who seem very fond of repeating this, but are they a great attraction really? I've heard it said that royal residences account for less than 1% of total tourist revenue in Britain. Doesn't sound like the royals are a great attraction to me, if that statistic is even close to being true. Castles and palaces are part of our heritage. People would still come here to see them, royal family or not. Anyway, maybe Buckingham Palace would be a better tourist attraction if it were open all year round. And it could be if we were to give the royals the elbow, so to speak. Monarchists like to talk about tradition. Well, you know what? We have a tradition of democracy in this part of the world. And let's face it, having a heritable public office is inherently undemocratic. Historically, monarchs have been the enemies of freedom. People have had to fight hard for their freedom in this part of the world as they have elsewhere. You know, as far as tradition goes, monarchists can talk all they like. But every generation makes its own history. And things are always changing. Monarchists argue that the crown acts as a stabilizing force. Well, I have to ask, does the monarch have the power to stop wars or end divisive political arrangements? Can the monarch make poverty history, perhaps? It's worth pointing out that the symbol of the crown played a lead role in 3 decades of violence in Northern Ireland. Democracy, equality, and a certain degree of material wealth promote stability, not feudal institutions. Okay, let's take a look at some other things that fans of the monarchy say. The monarch is a uniting symbol of the Commonwealth. The monarch strengthens historic bonds. Well, most nations in the Commonwealth are republics. The Commonwealth is a modern international organisation now. A British Republic would surely help to free the organisation from its colonial past. Okay, here's another one. The royals do so much for charity. We would lose that if Britain became a republic. Okay, look. The Windsors could still do charity work if Britain was a republic. They don't need royal status to go about doing good deeds, do they? Even if the monarchy were abolished tomorrow, I'm sure the family could get by on its celebrity status. Anyway, could it not be argued that the royals' use of charities is little more than a cynical way to boost their reputations and stave off criticism about their extravagant lifestyles. The royals are great representatives for Britain overseas, and they are great ambassadors for trade. Really? We have a professional diplomatic corps to represent us and do the serious diplomatic work. International diplomacy can be a complicated and tricky business. I honestly don't think we need the likes of Prince Philip to represent us in the international community, taking into account some of the things he said in the past. And the same goes for Prince Charles, I would say. As far as the royals being great ambassadors goes, look, Britain is one of the biggest economies in the world. The capital of England is a world financial centre. We're a member of G8. Our economy would still be as strong without the Windsors. There is no evidence to suggest that the monarchy brings in trade or investment. Some monarchists say that the British monarchy is the envy of the world. I can't see why successful, powerful nations like the US or Germany would envy a feudal institution like the British monarchy. I notice there is little or no desire to replicate it in the aforementioned countries. Okay, a favourite monarchist argument is that the royal family is value for money, and that it costs less than an elected president would. Buckingham Palace claims that the monarchy costs the taxpayer somewhere around £30 or £40 million a year. It varies from year to year. Well, according to a report by Republic, that's the group that campaigns for a British Republic here in the UK, the monarchy is costing us a lot more than this. Visit republic.org.uk and check out the Royal Finances report. Makes for some interesting reading. Let me give you a sample here. This is the total cost of the monarchy from the financial year 2009-2010. Queen's Civil List, £14.2 million. Duke of Edinburgh, £400,000. Property grant, £15.4 million. Communications, media and public relations, £400,000. Travel, £3.9 million. Government departments and Crown Estate, £3.9 million. Prince Charles and Camilla, additional costs, £500,000. Lost revenue for Duchy of Lancaster, £13.2 million. Lost revenue for Duchy of Cornwall, £24.5 million. Security, £100 million. Cost to local councils for visits by the Queen, £26 million. And so, the total cost is over £200 million. If you compare the cost of our monarchy to other European monarchies, ours is far more expensive. And if you look at the annual costs of elected European heads of state in places like Germany, Finland, Austria and Ireland, you will see just how expensive our monarchy is by comparison. Even in comparison with France, our monarchy is really expensive. And that's saying something considering the last French president. So, over £200 million. Maybe some years it's a bit more, some years a bit less. But let's say this is an average cost, give or take 10 or 20 million. All that money used to maintain the lifestyles of one family. One family. Can this country really justify this? And anyway, in order to judge whether something is value for money, we need to judge what we get for our money, right? Can we get something better for less? Surely we should be asking ourselves this question. And here's another question to finish here. Are you a subject or are you a citizen? Please take the time to really have a think about that one. Anyway, thank you for watching, folks, and I will see you next video. Peace.